Hello there, boys and girls, and all of those in between. My name is Maliena Bitchcock, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, a fantastic talk show where I get to interview some of the best performers from all over. And I'm so excited because I got the fantastic and beautiful queen all the way from Portland, Oregon, the one and only Amy Takill.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Hey, beautiful. How are you doing? Are you surviving quarantine over there?
Barely. No, I've been actually really, really grateful. I moved back in with my parents. They got me the room. It's all set up. So now I'm just chilling. Now it's just the waiting game of just waiting.
Goodness. I'm sure your parents are so happy to have you home for $500 a month.
Yes. No, they were really excited to have me back, and then I came back.
And then it was like, go away.
They're like, oh, we actually liked you when you were not here. So, but no, I've been doing great in quarantine.
Well, girl, I'm so excited to finally have you here. I think your name has been mentioned in so many episodes that it's like, I need a face to finally place to the name. So, hey, bitch.
Hi, it's me. They say I'm a lot uglier, I bet. But no, I'm here.
No, I think she's a woman. You are just absolutely looking beautiful today.
Thank you. My face is rounder because I got fat in quarantine.
Oh, honey. Tell me about it. I think the quarantine 20 is a real thing.
Oh, 100%. I have now 3 chins, so it's one, and then the one I contour, and then the third one, it's a special one.
Oh my goodness. Well, again, I'm so grateful for you to be on my show so we can highlight you a little. Are you ready to dive into the bulk of this interview?
Let's dive in. I'm not afraid to swim. Let's go deep.
Well, perfect, because I like to go deep.
Me too, sis. Me too.
Yes. Well, let's start at the very beginning and talk to me about your first exposure to drag.
So back in high school, 3 years ago, I was just, this average little gay kid. I was a theater kid. I loved shows and stuff like that. And then people were like, well, you're gay, so you watch RuPaul's Drag Race. And I go, no, I don't like cars.
Wait, what? You don't like what?
Cars. Well, like drag racing. I'm okay. So I'm from
That's way too butch.
I'm so butch. Well, I'm from Vancouver, so just north of Portland. So I'm a little hick, enough to pass by. But no, I was just like, what's Drag Race? And so I looked it up. I think the first season that was premiering when I was looking it up was season 6, Bianca's season, and I thought it was the coolest shit ever. And my favorite is Adore Delano, and I looked up to her so much. I loved her grunge. I liked the grit to it because it was almost like, oh, you're a real person. I can do that, and I related to that. So that was my first exposure to drag.
Okay, I love that. Bianca and Adore Delano came to Portland the year of their season.
Yep.
And I was able to see Bianca, and I was sad that I didn't get to see Adore Delano, but I will say I did flirt with her on Grindr and swap dick pictures. So, that counts,
well,
right?
I don't have those archived. My email is just kidding.
I wish. That would be worth money, honey, especially
I know.
OnlyFans days.
Oh, 100%. Well, now people just do it for free. People don't even have OnlyFans. They just post it up all on Twitter.
Good to know. Now, babe, what was it about drag that attracted you to it and made you want to do it?
So I always liked makeup for sure. I always just had that kind of natch. I loved watching makeup tutorials online, even though I didn't really do that much makeup. I did either simple boy makeup or stage makeup, which sometimes I would mistake the two and then go to school with my stage makeup on looking like a clown. Flash forward a few years, I am the clown. But I just always had that natch for makeup. And then when you fuse it with this performative art style, I thought it was that's fantastic. There's so many layers of drag. But then what you see on the stage is just, I liked that. I want to do that. I mean, I didn't know I wanted to do that at that time, but hi, here I am now.
Yes. And at what point did you actually start dabbling in drag yourself?
So, well, the way I dabbled in drag is by dating a drag queen. So I dabbled in in drag several times. Um,
If that's what we're calling it these days, you dabbled in drag.
dabble in the drag. No, so he was like, hey, there's this opportunity. It's called Closet Ball. And you get a sponsor and you be made up for a night and it's all for charity. And yeah, if you just want to try it out, try it out. And so I was like, absolutely. And so I messaged people. I was like, hey, like, I would love to do this. Like, if there's any spots left. And luckily there was one. And this, my sponsor was Lilac.
Wait, you're saying for your first time in drag, you literally had the privilege to have Lilac paint you?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I never felt more gorgeous like in my life. All she did was like start with the eyeliner. It was like that nice lilac liner. And I looked in the mirror and I looked freaking beautiful. I was just like, oh my God. And she's like, can you look at me? We only have an hour. Like, I was just like, okay, okay, okay. Looking back, was it the best face? No, sorry, Lilac.
You
I'll
are
give you that
cut
later.
off from wings. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, it was hot. It wasn't summertime, but I was hot. I was sweating, and we only had an hour. So for an hour, I was beautiful.
I love it. Now, tell me a little bit actually how you chose your drag name, Amy Takill, and does it have any secret meaning?
So I always liked the name Amy, just for a girl. Like I just thought Amy like was this short, simple, like it's short but has a mystery to it. There's always more. There's like Amy. Who is she? So I always just like that name. And then I was like, okay, for drag, I want something clever because I think I'm clever. And so I was like, Ameen? And so I was like, okay, Amy sounds like Ameen. And then I was like, well, what am I aiming for? And so I was like, well, to kill, because I'm cutthroat. And so the whole name is Amy Takill, because if you say it right, it's aiming to kill.
Okay. I have to admit, and I told you this last night during the pre-interview, it took you actually explaining that to me for me to get it. I was like, wait, I thought it was about like killing the popular girl. And you're like, well, kinda. It's about
Kind of.
aiming to kill.
Yeah. You're not the first. There's several people that did not get my name. I was working with Britt Neon for like 3 months, and then on that third month, she was like, "Hey, so I finally got the pun in your name." I was just like, "Britt, we've known each other for 3 months," and then I think Coco also took long. Coco, like, I think it was me coming over to her house and like explaining my name. She was like, "Oh, so that's what you got it from." I was just like, "Okay, obviously my pun is not going well, but hey, I'm stuck with the name now." So,
Well, I love it. And it's just as good as one of the names I want to make one of my drag babies once they have one. And
uh,
that's Definity a Boy. And it's supposed to sound like definitely a boy, but people are like, huh?
yeah, they're like, "Huh?" That's why you have to say it really, really fast. But then if you say it really, really fast, all they hear is that, and they're like, "Who's that bitch?"
Right? Now, tell us a little bit about the drag character that is Amy Takill.
So I like to say that Amy Takill is the girl next door you wish would move away. Um, and I think that's the best like way to put it. I'm very like approachable. I'm very like girly girly. I love looking just like womana. But then you wish would move away. It's because I'm annoying. I think I'm funny, and I have bad breath. But all those three things puts together the girl next door you wish would move away. I
Oh,
was talking to my friend one time that the best way to describe me is in any 90s like coming of age movie, you know when the girl takes off her glasses and then she's hot? Well, it's me, but I forgot to become hot. So
well, I love that. And speaking of describing, how would you describe Amy Takill in just 3 words?
ooh, quick. Um Demanding and a cunt. And I mean that in like the acronym.
Oh, charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I love that for sure. And what is your personality like in drag? And do you feel like there's a personality shift from everyday life to in drag?
When it comes to everyday life versus drag, I feel like there is that nice little gray area where I finally switch, and it's like when the nails come on, when the wigs come on. But I feel like drag me is basically an unfiltered version of my day-to-day life. Like, you know, you have things that you want to say, but you're as a dude and you're kind of like, oh, people won't take that the right way. As soon as you flip over and you're this 6'4" woman, you can say whatever you want. People are not going to come for you. And I feel like that filter just kind of goes away and I get to say what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. We call that our drag arbor, as we've kind of referred within
Mhm.
our my show here, and I love it because a lot of us are really shy underneath all of the glitz and glam and all the beautiful wigs. And then the moment we put the makeup on and put on that corset and all that uncomfortability, would you think it, we kind of snap into this whole new character that's sometimes completely different than who we are. And sometimes it's just an extension who we maybe be on a regular basis.
Uh-huh. I was telling some of my friends that I'm like an introvert that dresses like an extrovert. So I kind
Okay.
of I make myself come forward and like, you know, I'm not like super loud at the bar. I would prefer me sitting with my cocktail, having like a one-on-one conversation.
I have to just say, I'm gonna slightly call bullshit just because I know you're best friends with Bougie Cherry, and that bitch is loud.
I know, and I can't get her to shut up. Do you have any advice?
Yes, duct tape. It works perfectly.
She actually ran out. Just kidding. But yeah, so she's one of those people that's a little bit more outspoken than me because I kind of have to reel her back sometimes. But then there's those sometimes where I'm like, you know what, Bougie, I'm mad too, and we just start yelling.
My goodness, I love that so much. Now, how do you feel like drag has actually affected your confidence, not just in drag when you're in the makeup and everything, but in everyday life?
So going back to like I was always a performer, so I always kind of had that like stage fright doesn't really affect me. Mind you, people still get stage fright, absolutely. But I just putting on all of this just kind of helped Jacobus. My boy name. I know it's weird. But
Wait, what was it?
so my boy name is Jacobus, which is the American pronunciation. It's actually Jacobus, but yeah, it's Jacob with a US at the end. Is the best way to describe it.
Oh, and then wait, how do you have this wild kind of edgy everyday night name, and then you pick a name like Amy for your drag name?
Because as growing up with my complex name, people butchered it all the time. And so honestly, I kind of wanted to pick Amy because everyone can look at that on a piece of paper and know how to fucking say it.
Absolutely. I get that so much because with my drag name, Maliena, people call me Melania, Maliena, all kinds of things. I'm like, bitch, it's not that hard to say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, honey, tell me a little bit about the process you went through to find your drag character and your drag aesthetic.
It has been a journey, I would have to say. So when I won the closet ball, I took a time back and I kind of like, studied some drag, like wanted to make sure I got everything in order. Um, and it kind of goes back to like who first inspired me, which was Adore Delano. And so I thought I wanted to be this like grungy queen, like short shorts and then like a ripped up Forever 21 tee and like a jacket and do I don't know, like Cherry Bomb by the Runaways. Like I thought I was like the rocker girl. And I like at that time, like old school drag, being like me, 21, like stupid and don't know my history, I was like, ew, old school drag gowns, no. But then flash forward, once you start doing things, I love bodysuits, I love dresses, I love a good gown that can just fit that perfect body and just, it looks good on you and you don't have to do anything about it.
Yes, you gotta love a good bodysuit. It just makes everything look perfect, even when this isn't.
I can guarantee you, like, if the face isn't good, but like, the body is right, baby, just turn around.
Yes. Now, do you feel like Amy is a funny queen? And if so, what is her sense of humor like?
Okay, so I do think I am hilarious, which is what every person who thinks they're funny says. But I'm more like quick wit humor of just like, if you're talking, I can like interject a little and have you be like, wait, what'd she say? And some people take that as like I'm coming for them, but I'm like, I just see the joke while it's there and I read it. If I have to read you as well, so be it. But
Well,
I think I'm hilarious.
Oh, go ahead, babe.
Oh no, I just think I'm hilarious. That's it.
Well, I was going to say, I think that leads into the next question, which is, do you think that Amy is more of a sweet queen or a shady queen?
Yes and no, both. Yes. So I would say the best way to describe it is like a kind of a bad girls club. Like I am cutthroat and I do have opinions and thoughts and feelings. Um, and I will say those all in the confessional. I will say those all in the confessional. But when I see you, I'm gonna be like, "Hi, love. Mwah, mwah, you look good," and just be like, "That's the ugliest fucking dress I've ever seen." But it
It
makes me.
creates good drama to do that, but I'd rather be like, you know what? I'm going to cut your fucking face and I'm going to throw marbles on the stage and make you trip.
As much as I would love to do that, most queens trip on themselves. So
That's true. That's true. Well, I love it. Now, what can we expect from an Amy Takill performance?
what you would expect from my performances, I kind of got it down to my science of what I would like to show at any event that I'm booked for. Usually people do 3 numbers in a show. And so I kind of break them down on 3 aspects. So the first one is the high energy number. I love, dancing, getting the crowd like pumped up and everything. So like top 40 or like a mix of a top 40. The second song's usually like a mix, something with a little bit of comedy in it. So dance, 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 and then like SNL skit or some sort of crazy meme reference. And then the third song is something for me, like what I like to do, or something like in my back pocket that I've always wanted to do. Usually I'm tired by the third number, so it's going to be a slow song, and I hope you're ready for that.
Yes. Now, how would you describe your performance style when you're actually on stage?
I would like to say that I'm the best performer. Just kidding. No, I do take those amount of times, and I do take those moments to really like sink in with the song. Mind you, also at sometimes I'm like switch off. I'm like switch off, just do the 2-step like dun dun, and then one of those drag moves. That one, love that. So yeah, just like dancy, 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 and then catch me backstage, and then I'm cracking jokes.
Yeah, and you already said that you kind of like to dance, so you are known for a lot of dancing and those kind of edgy tricks that you can do on stage.
I said I'm a dancer. I did not say I'm a gymnastics.
Come on, girl, how about a dramatic drop? It'd be like, boom!
Yes, I can do a dip. I can do a dip, and it takes me like 2 8 counts to get back up, but I know how to do a dip. You will not catch me doing a cartwheel, no barrel rolls, no somersaults. I perform with this mostly, right here.
Oh, I love it. There's no shame in that. There's no need to actually break your body to actually entertain people, especially when you have real talent.
I'll drink to that.
Yes. Now, love, what kind of music do you tend to be attracted to, especially for a performance?
So when it comes to performance, my music taste outside of drag music is two opposites. When I'm getting ready for a show, I'm like listening to like Alanis Morissette, sad, angsty music while I'm painting my face. And then as soon as like I'm on the way to the club, picking out my songs or just like getting myself hyped up, it's like the most draggedy, like bow, 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 cow, I'm pussy, bitch, like two opposite ends. But I don't know, I just love like energy numbers. I want the music to move for me.
I could just see Amy Takill getting ready for a show, be like, "Oh, by myself."
That's literally it. Yeah, because you kind of have to like, mentally like just cry a little bit, so you're not sad when you get to the club.
I love that. Now, speaking of, we've already mentioned you're a funny queen. Now, do you tend to bring humor to the stage for your performances?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the special kind of humor, what I like to call stupid humor, where
I love that.
it's obviously not like I'm not trying too hard to be serious. I think drag is a serious art form that doesn't need to be taken seriously. So I'll just like be dancing and dancing and then cut with like an anti-drug commercial, just full on deadpan, stop it, get some help kind of comedy. And then, if it's a drug related thing, I am probably making a comedy bit about it. So
Well, in fact, I heard you have one of your most popular mixes that you tend to make everyone crack up with is your 420 mix. Tell us a little bit about that.
I love my 420 mix. It's my special little mix to me. It's the first mix I thought about it when I was like thinking, I was like, okay, I want to do a mix. I want to do it kind of my way. And mind you, I don't know how to use a computer. So I had to like listen on YouTube, write down when I wanted things to start and stop. And I sent it to Bastilla. Bastilla Dud? Yeah, Dowd.
Hey,
I call
girl.
her Dud. I call her Dud because she looks like a milk dud. But I sent it to her and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And she just wham bammed, did it for me. Love that mix, mainly because I like to poke fun at drugs, even though I'm not that much of a drug user. But it's so funny. So it starts out like, I'm not on drugs. No, no, no drugs. And then it ends with me ripping a bong and listening to the Arthur theme song. And I think every stoner can relate to that.
I mean, I know I can, and I am one of those queens that loves her devil's lettuce. I mean,
Oh,
it's so delicious, and it
oh,
just
100%.
makes me so much nicer for the average public.
Oh, 100%. And when, like, I'm not even that much of a drinker, so I'll just hand over my drink tickets and be like, okay, so if I give you these drink tickets, can I please have that bowl?
Oh my God, wouldn't that just be a fantastic courtesy instead of getting drink tickets? They'd be like, we have these joints for you girls. Be like,
Oh, I would be at that venue every single day.
well, I love it. Now, speaking of mixes, you are known for getting some of your mixes created yourself, and you do have your girl Bastilla create those for you. What kind of inspiration goes in behind creating one of those mixes, especially when you're trying to bring humor to the stage?
Um, what I do is I think I pick the songs first. I don't pick a theme. I think I hear a song and I go, okay, how can I relate to that? One of my other mixes, I was listening to Shut Up and Drive by Rihanna, and I couldn't help but thinking about like parking tickets or like being pulled over. And so, another mix that Bastilla made for me is my Shut Up and Drive, where it goes to Shut Up and Drive, and then it goes into this one Vine where this girl gets pulled over by a cop and she gets a ticket and she's crying profusely that she got this ticket. And it's one of my favorite mixes to do as well, because it's dancey, 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 cut it with a stupid joke, and then carry it out.
Oh, I love a little stupid humor. It always brings a little something special to the stage.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. Now, I also hear, actually, what do you want an audience member to take away from actual one of your performances?
If I could like have one person take away anything from like seeing me, I want to like be on stage, do my thing, and then have that person remember she was fun. Like, I liked what she did. She was fun. I just want to have fun. I want to have a good time. And I want to be approachable. I want people to like come after the show and be like, hey, you were really, really good. Like, I don't want to be this like drag, super, super fierce, like kind of mega monster of drag. Even though I am super, super tall, I want people to relate to me and, you know, think I'm a nice girl.
Think you're a nice girl. We know you're a naughty, naughty, shady queen underneath it all, aren't you, Miss Amy?
I plead the fifth. I have a good lawyer. He will speak for me.
Yes. Now, I also hear, besides just being a regular performer at the shows, you're also known for being one of the regular hosts and MCs. So, what can we expect from Amy Takill on the microphone while hosting?
I learned, I do how I see, like Amy see, Amy do. And, you know, being in so many shows, you kind of pick up what's good and what's not. So I will absolutely be the one to be like, all right, all right, all right. Cause I'm like, I like how Nana brings that in every single time. And then Angel's a great host. I listen to her all the time, and, you know, she's been doing it forever. And so if I like a joke, I will be absolutely taken from that. And mind you, I don't know about you because you host as well. Do you ever have to write the like 3 drag rules on your wrist before you have to say them before every
Like,
show?
well, let me make sure, like, are you talking about like the rules and regulations of a show?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just kind of go over it because but you'd have to know, I've been doing this 15 years. So it's like, so now it's like embedded in my brain.
Yeah, I hopefully one day I'll get there, but whenever like I finally have the mic and I'm like, all right, rule number 1, and I'm like, oh yeah. And so mind you, eventually I've been getting better, and I like to crack jokes. One of my favorite times hosting in Vancouver, because I know all those people. Those are my friends. Those are the people I came up with. And so like I can add little jokes in between that is kind of just funny for me, but the audience laughs too. So
Yes. Now, as I mentioned, I've been doing drag quite a bit of time. Amy, how many years have you been doing drag at this point?
so I like to like do little start dates. So it was 2018 when I did Closet Ball. So that was like 2 years ago. It's 2020 now. And then I kind of started in that August. So in a month, it will be like my 2 year.
My goodness, only 2 years? How are
Yeah,
you so freaking polished for only being 2 years old? God bless Drag Race.
right. So I was never, I didn't start out looking really, really good. I started looking I started out looking like, oh, okay, we can look at her at least. It was not polished. My brows were horrible to glue down. Um, but it was just practice. It was just practice, practice, practice every single day, just trying to glue down my brows. That was like the most thing. I was just like, ugh, how the fuck I do this? And I keep on making oatmeal. But just practice, 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 practice every single day.
Oatmeal sounds so delicious. Yummy.
A little
Well,
apple cinnamon.
yes, little strawberries and cream, or maybe peaches and cream over there.
Yep.
So, love, now, what does doing drag mean to you, and how do you feel like drag has actually affected your life?
um, It's really great. I think drag for me just fits, and I really am appreciative of this art form. When I was in high school, I wanted to be like an actor. I wanted to be the musical theater, and some things didn't work out. So I went to beauty school, as people who, life doesn't turn out, they go to beauty school. So I think it marries my two passions that I've always had, which was makeup, hair, and then performance. Um, and, I did work at a salon, I worked at a coffee shop, but drag to me is a job. Like, I like to think of it as my second income. I've actually paid rent strictly based off drag one time. And to me, it's like my job, it's my career, it's what I love to do. And so, I don't know, I'm just thankful for drag for me anyway. So,
Absolutely. I don't honestly think I would be sitting here talking to you today if I wasn't doing drag. I feel like because of my mental instabilities and some of the things I've struggled with, I probably would have taken the easy way out. But
mm,
I feel like drag has added confidence. It's given me a mental outlet to do on stage because, as we both know, being performers, you can literally let so much out during a performance. And even if the audience doesn't get it, sometimes you are living your own life on stage and not just feeling like a diva, but you're letting out emotions, or you're really letting out anger, or you're really just using it as an outlet to relieve the stresses of everyday life.
oh, I absolutely feel that. And it brings me back to like times of like, I don't care what people want to see in my performance. This number is going to be for me, and you do it, and you kind of just like emotionally vomit onto the stage, and like people, like when your friends are in the audience, they know exactly like what you're going through. But then the audience kind of feels that because it's the human experience in a sense of like, oh, I felt that emotion before, and you're kind of speaking it through this wonderful song. So yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Amy, tell me a little bit about your drag style and what kind of looks we can expect from Amy Takill.
Well, today is not the best representation because I'm literally wearing like an Amazon dress and making it work. But these are like walkarounds. But if I'm performing, I love a good bodysuit. I pad my ass off for a reason, is so you can see that wonderful hourglass figure that you can tell time on. I love like jumpsuits. I love anything that like fits my body. I have been experimenting in more gowns, and so I can start looking a little bit more sophisticated, not just looking like I'm ready to fight. So,
Okay, now, Amy, how would you describe your drag aesthetic?
um, that's so hard. Um, my
I
dra-
think it
uh,
hard.
so my drag aesthetic for me is pretty, but pretty girly, but also with like a side of like fierce. There's always like a little bit of grit to it. Um, like obviously, like my makeup is very like woman like, very like just kind of drag. Which is kind of weird saying like, oh, my makeup's drag. Every makeup is drag, but mine is very kind of like female impersonator. But my drag style is very like, I don't know, I want to look like Mortal Kombat characters, just like tight suits and ready to like rumble.
See, and I like to look like Bozo the Clown.
I feel that. Some days I want to feel that. I just want to be like, you know what? It's going to be out to here today.
Yes. And so, how do you feel like your drag itself has actually evolved within these last 2 years?
Not just makeup wise, because I know I've excelled. Facebook likes to remind me about like every 2 weeks, like, hey, remember when you used to contour with black eyeshadow? I'm like, please don't. Shh.
The
Um,
shadiest thing out there is Facebook memories,
oh,
isn't it?
100%. They're like, hey, you were feeling good today? Look at this. And you're like, please just don't. But my drag is just, I feel like involved so much, not only look wise, because you buy new things, you get skilled in the makeup, but also performance wise. just really kind of studying songs a little bit, of just kind of taking it a little bit further than I like this song to let me see like what this song means and like really bringing a story to it.
Absolutely. I think that's what really brings a very good performer from an average performer, is being able to embody the emotion and actually tell the story of the song that you're about to perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, are there any characters, pop icons, or maybe even just strong women who have helped influence and inspire you to the queen you are today?
Yes, absolutely. There are like countless women. Because I grew up and I was a nerd and like I read comics, I played video games, like those kind of women, like Jean Grey from X-Men, like is my all-time favorite, just woman in general, which I think is funny that she turns into Phoenix because now I'm a Phoenix. But and then just like badass like women, just who is it? Any woman in a video game, love them to death. So I've
Of
always
course.
wanted to be that woman that's tough but also looks amazing.
So I could totally see you as Maliena from Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, that's the one with the right.
Smile. The smile, yeah.
I mean, I do have a big mouth, so
She'll swallow you whole, boys and girls.
yes.
Yikes.
But unlike her, I'm not using any teeth.
I love it. Now, honey, are there any local queens? Because you're out there in Portland, Oregon, and you have been doing this about 2 years. Are there any local queens you've looked up to and helped inspire you also?
Yes, absolutely. There's been countless of queens that I've looked up to, even from like starting in drag. So obviously, Lilac and Angel, I would have to say are like my top the two, and they would kill me if I did not mention them because they're my parents. But you know, my local Vancouver scene, I love Kisses. I love the energy she always delivers. Epiphany, Victoria, and then going to Portland. Um, you know, Inanna and Flawless were like the two people I always looked up to because they were young, they host their own show, they always looked like good together. So when I started, I looked up to like those people, and it's so funny because even one instance, I remember I was doing this show and Kimberly Michelle Westwood was like there. We all know K Michelle. And
That bitch.
she was actually one of like the first queens I ever got to see in drag. I loved her. I didn't know her, but I just loved her. It was this New Year's party. And I remember the first show I ever did with her, I was so nervous. I thought she was an utmost icon. And I was just like, hi, my name is Amy. It's nice to meet you. And she goes, hi.
That's so fucking Kim.
And so now I've lost all respect for her. So I see her as an equal.
Oh my god, I love that so much. Kimberly Michelle Westwood, if you don't know her, she's a fierce, unstoppable queen out in Portland, Oregon. And I am so privileged to call her my sister. So, I mean, it's hard because she makes drag look easy, especially out in Portland.
I know. She just was like, oh yeah, I just did this like 2-minute face. And I'm like, what? And so she always looks good, and she always just like, she makes it look effortless, which fuck her.
Right. Now, there has been a lot of queens that have come before us and paved the way for us to be where we are, to be able to perform and have the privileges we have. Why do you feel like it's important to know your drag history?
Well, just as a new queen in general, I never wanted to sound ignorant. And you know, it's one of those things that, like, I don't want to look like an idiot. So obviously, like, you research, you know who came before, you know who did what before, why they are important. And one of the best things ever is that we get to have this monument of history for drag in Portland ourselves with Darcelle's. Like, if you like sit there and look at one spot on the wall, you get to learn about like 7 different things about drag history in Portland. And I think it's just important in general, not only for myself, because if I get to learn, I get to carry that to the people who's next after me. So yeah.
You know, drag history is important, especially this day and age where I feel like a lot has been lost through the years.
Mhm.
And most of what people know about drag is RuPaul's Drag Race. And believe me, the world of drag is so much bigger than what you see
Yeah.
on Drag Race. And it's been going on many, 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 many years before Drag Race was even conceived.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like, to me, drag history has always been important because, again, it's knowing what's come before you, the bitches that paved the road for you. But it's also a way to get inspired by the
Oh.
past because, like, I used to watch nonstop the documentary from the 90s called Wigstock.
Mhm.
And it's about basically the festival that happened out in New York City every year. And watching some of those queens sometimes, even though it's back in the 90s, it's like, wow, that's actually really pretty looking with the makeup, or God, I would have never thought of doing that hairstyle, or fuck, could you really get away with saying that back then? And it's
Yep.
like, so I do like seeing the drag history, especially where we are now with drag and the ability to what we have the ability to do with it.
Oh, 100%. And it's one of those things of like, if you know what came before, you learn from that. And also, I'm very privileged to like grow up where in the time area that I am because I am a white gay man in Portland um, during this time where I can finally get married. Like years ago, they were doing all of what I was doing, but under this like cloud of like oppression. So you
Yeah,
kind of need to be grateful for where you are.
I hear you. And back then, back in the day before I got divorced, I for gay marriage, and I was one of those people that you saw at the courthouses fighting for it because I was actually in Medford, Oregon, the first one of the first couples to get a domestic partnership when it became legal.
Work, okay.
And thankfully, I got divorced from that pile of something. Um, but and I've moved on to much better things. But
Mhm.
it's important to remember that we didn't just have these rights handed to us, especially this day and age. We had to fight for them.
Yeah,
And that's why, especially like right now with Black Lives Matter, we need to recognize that it is important to make your voice heard. It is important to fight for specific things because without someone fighting for it, it's nothing's ever going to happen.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, back to local girls.
Hmm.
I hear there is one local queen in particular that you are quite close with. And we all know her as Bougie Cherry. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with the Cherry herself?
Yes, I do. I have heard of Booger Cheryl in my past. I have worked with her several times. Someone lied to her and told her that she was fly. Just kidding. But no, so that is like my drag wife. We started, well, she started like a year before me, but she's seen me from the beginning. Like, and she always just was kind of welcoming. That's a lie. I made sure to welcome myself, but I don't know. We've just kind of grown to like a sisterhood almost. Of it's her and me and her, and like we just fight for each other when like we can't no more. And she's my closest sister. I helped her through so much. She's helped me through so much for me, and yeah, I love her. I won't say that to her face, but if she's watching, none of that was true.
Well, I get it. Now, maybe if this will help, speaking of fight, I thought I would pick one by mentioning there is a specific date, August 3rd, that is very, very important to you that really relates to a very fun and embarrassing story. So spill the tea, Amy.
So she's gonna kill me, but because she hates bringing this up. So when me and Bougie first met, we did what any gay person do, and basically was like, "Hey, are we gonna have a thing?" And you know, we were talking for a while, and eventually she was like, "Hey, you should come down. We're having like a Mean Girls night. Like it's October 3rd. you should come down. I would love to see you. And me being the, candidate number apparently 7 for her boyfriendness, I was like, hey, yeah, sure. And so I drive down all the way to Salem to Shot Skis, and I should have known that her and I were going to get along really well because I walked in the door and she was already drunk. And finally, like, we just had a good time and show was wrapping up. The poor dear was just blacked out. And so I was like, hey, like, let me take you home. And I drove her home. She wanted Taco Bell. She didn't eat that Taco Bell, but got her home, got her makeup off and everything. And she was like, come cuddle me. And I was being, the great person I was. I did cuddle her and it was great. I was fully clothed because I don't like, people touching me that I'm not consent to touch. And we woke up and I was like, oh, cool, we did cuddle the whole time. And I was like, oh, you're not wearing a shirt. And I was like, okay, obviously. I'm like, at least you're wearing underwear. And then I was like, but what if she's not? And so I was just like, okay, I have to check. And then I slowly worked my head down. And
oh my God.
The end of the story is that she definitely was not wearing underwear. And I retracted my hand so fast. And she woke up and she was just like, and I was like, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. And
so,
she hates that story. She hates that story till this day.
So basically, Amy, you're telling me you were scared of the anteater hiding underneath the sheets.
Oh, 100%. I did not want to touch that. Luckily, I didn't because now I got to keep my hand. So.
Oh my God, I love you so much. Now, you and Bougie Cherry are definitely sister wives, as you've mentioned. In fact, you have several drag children together.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be a drag mother?
To be a drag mom, it's definitely a responsibility. I did not know I was ready until I had them. And it was basically, it's your duty to make sure what you, A, know, B, what you wish you knew, and things to look out for and kind of groom them into this performer. So if eventually I'm gone, they're going to be well off with the knowledge that I thought I had. So I have 3 kids. I have Mercury Dabs, I have Tokyo Plains, and I have Chastity. And all 3 of them like deliver their own little special thing. And, some things I have to work on Chastity, I don't have to work on Mercury. And so it's just really, really good to, teach them, like let them know. Because I didn't really have a drag mom until like a few months into it. So.
Absolutely. And it is important to instill your knowledge into other queens so we can pass that knowledge through the years. Now, speaking of, what kind of things do you try to instill within your drag children that you feel is important for them to know?
So I'm lucky. I got the 3 beautiful kids at the adoption center. So I don't have to teach them makeup. I don't have to teach them like physical things, which I'm really happy about.
So you didn't have to take any of them back to the pound?
No. Sometimes when they act up, I think about it, but no, they're good. The main thing I think I would like to teach them, and I have taught them, is professionalism. Oftentimes they're lost, and there's not a guide for drag and for drag shows and drag etiquette, really. You can't Google it, but just how to get a part of shows, how to act during those shows, and just all out professionalism at the end of the day. So.
Absolutely. In fact, talking to you, you seem like one of those queens that professionalism is very important to you. So tell me about that.
So because I come from a theater background, it's just, we were very, very, we worked at a higher level. And so we were expected for a higher level. And so, call time was call time. Know your marks. This is your lines. This is what you have to be off book by. So all that kind of transferred into drag, where there are expectations of, music, attire, personality. And so I made sure to kind of just take it with that approach. And I think that kind of goes to my success of how I got ahead so quickly, is because I know what to say and do. And then people are like, well, if she's acting this mature, we'll kind of forgive the fact that she looks busted. And I'm very grateful that I got to know those things. And so I try to instill that onto my kids.
Absolutely. Professionalism is the best accessory that you can have in drag, boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
So, in etiquette, yes. Now, Miss Amy, tell me a little bit, because speaking of drag family, you have a legendary name of Phoenix attached to your name. Tell me a little bit about being part of that drag family.
So, well, I could go into which one, but no. So
Spill the
I'm
tea, bitch. Spill the tea.
so currently right now I am under the wonderful umbrella of the Phoenix family, which is the mother, Angel Phoenix, and then I also have my other mom, Lilac, but she didn't have a last name, so can't really use anything. I'm like, Amy Lilac to kill. No, 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 no. But I still say she's my mom, so I can get the discount on the locks by Lilac.
You get a discount? What the fuck? Who do I need to screw to get 15% off here?
Well, you see, use promo code AmyTakill and checkout.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big one. I have to like give her wigs like 3 months in advance and be like, hey, it's okay. Just give it to me when you're done. But so the reason why I say which family, because I know you want to know. I know people want me to talk about it. Coming up.
I have no idea what you're talking about, girl. There's no drama here. There's no tea to spill. Who are we fucking kidding? We're drag queens. Spill the fucking tea.
So, I coming up into drag, I was under the mentorship of Lexus and Devlin Phoenix, spelled with 2 X's, which got kind of complicated once Angel came, but you know, people can read. But I don't. So luckily, I'm very thankful for Lexus and Devlin, and Bougie, because we were kind of all together in that time. Because that's how we got this. You can't
What's
really. Hold on, let me just read it. It says, Entertainer of the Year from the Imperial Sovereign Rose Court. I am so grateful for what they gave to me to have that award, because I was only a year into drag when we got it. And so, but like all great relationships, sometimes, you know, you draw apart. And Lexus was off. Okay, go ahead.
You mean like Destiny's Child and the Spice Girls? Eventually, one of you became a diva and said, "Fuck the rest of you! I'm gonna get famous."
Yes. It was I would say it was more Spice Girls than Destiny's Child. I would not want to draw that comparison to call myself Beyonce, because I'm more of a Kelly. All that fame, but I don't have to work as hard now. But yeah, we just kind of deviated a little bit, and I wanted a little bit more structure. I'm still very new. I wanted someone to push me, and I wasn't really getting that, and that was no fault on, you know, the Phoenix SXs, because they were doing their own thing. I was like, well, what about me? So luckily, Angel, who has been like a really good friend and a strong supporter even when we weren't family, was like, hey, do you want to join us? And I just couldn't refuse, because I love what Angel delivers every single time. I love what she represents, her style, and I just know that she had that knowledge of drag that I really wanted to obtain. So
I mean, I don't blame you, honestly. Angel Phoenix is beyond legendary because this bitch knows what she's doing. She's talented, she's professional, she's kind, she's funny. I mean, can these queens stop being so goddamn perfect?
I
And
know.
But you are truly lucky to be part of the Angel Phoenix's family and to have someone like her mentor you. Does she truly push you to go further with your drag and kind of push those boundaries?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have to say I'm kind of more of like she doesn't really go in on me. She really goes in on charisma the most. Which I kind of just say I'm the favorite. But no, she really likes to push us. She wants to make sure that we know what we're doing, that we feel secure in what we are doing. What's next? How can we improve? If we do something and she has a comment about it, she will say that comment. Will I cry about it? Will I be butthurt about it? For a second. But then I'm like, ultimately, she wants me to grow and be better. And so, as much of a hard mom she is a caring mom, because if you're not mean, you're not caring. So,
It's just tough love, baby. So sometimes you can't sugarcoat everything, especially if necessary changes are needed. Sometimes you just need to be like, your makeup's terrible, your outfits are sloppy, and you need to get pantyhose that doesn't smell like corn chips.
I mean, sometimes I get hungry and I just like the smell, but I remember this one time we were all getting our makeup together and she looks over at me and she goes, "Are you going to wear a bigger lash?" And I was like, "Why? These are the only ones I brought." And she goes, "Okay." So I know to make sure I'm like, okay, bigger lashes, boom, 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 boom for next time. So.
I love that subtle shade too. Okay.
Okay.
Well, honey, now you are a queen with many skills under your skirt, as we've already mentioned. Now, you've mentioned a little bit earlier that you have a theater background.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like that theater background has helped you a little bit, especially in the drag world?
Oh, 100%. Because I look at drag as like an entertainment platform. Some people think drag activism, drag like fashion. I'm more of a drag performance kind of person. And so I really dive deep sometimes, being like, okay, so why am I choosing this song? Why am I doing it? Like studying it because I love music. I've always loved music, and tell that story. I love doing musical theater numbers. Sometimes they're not the best for the club, but sometimes you just got to do it because you're like, I want to tell a story and this is a fun story to tell. And so that's why I think having that theater background definitely like put me on an edge up for sure.
Now, would you say you're a Broadway queen that loves to bring musicals to your performances?
I would say so. One of my favorite shows that I've done was Coco's show, Scarlets and Harlots, because that one it's a cabaret like type of show. So you get to do your show tunes that you always wanted to do. And I just had a fun time with that. I was just like, yes, bring me back to my roots.
Yes. Now, speaking of roots, theater's not the only skill that you have under your skirt. You also, as you've mentioned, went to beauty school. Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, it's beauty school, and that's every gay boy's heaven.
Oh,
And
100%.
yes, especially for those who want to be beautiful divas like us. How has beauty school helped your drag?
So I'm really thankful for what beauty school taught me. They didn't really teach you that much makeup, but luckily I like extra credit, so I was studying it anyway. Um, but it really helped with hair for sure. When Lilac is too busy to be doing my hair, I do my own. This was, styled by me. But there is a disconnect for sure between wig hair and human hair. And I remember there's this one wig that I still kept, and it was my first like experimental wig, and it's trashed. It's absolutely trashed. But because I was just going at it, and I was like, why isn't it working? Oh, because it's synthetic fibers. Gotcha.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just waiting for To Kill Locks to come and hit the shelves So all of us can look like Amy Takill.
You know, if I ever got to that, first of all, there would be a dead horse in my bed because Lilac would be like, not on my turf, bitch. But I don't know, maybe. I have done wigs for other people, and I always say that it's not wigs by To Kill, it's To Kill for wigs.
Oh, who wouldn't kill for a wig? I know I would.
Here, have mine.
Yeah, well, girl, I'll give you my address. You can ship it right over. Now,
Perfect.
now you have gone to beauty school. Now, what do you feel like beauty school? What have you learned from beauty school that you've really taken into the drag world? Like, you haven't really learned a lot of makeup. You did learn a lot of hair, but they had to teach you some of the makeup basics.
Oh, 100%. I remember, what was it? I was in this makeup class, and the person was just like, all right, so you use these colors because of this and because of that and because of this. I was like, wait, what? And I think it was warm and cool tones, because I'm an idiot and I did not know the difference between, there's a reason why your eyeshadow looks muddy. It's because you're putting like a chocolate brown, which is like warm, right next to like a really ashy. And I was just like, oh. So color theory is definitely taken into account of like, okay, that's why it doesn't look good. So.
Oh, wow. I just learned something just this moment. I'm never going to be muddy ever again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lie.
That's
Bitch. Now, love, um, what would you say is one of your biggest accomplishments that you've been able to do within your drag career?
So I like growing up and doing drag, I always had those like little mini goals of like, I want to host my own show one day. I want to like be a part of a brunch, like, you know, like tiny little ones, but which I have finally like accomplished it, and that's just more like, yay, feel good about myself goals. But I'm going to say this, Entertainer of the Year was definitely like, oh my God, and just being so grateful about it, because I was just like, we just did a bunch of group numbers. To us, that's fine, but like, thank you, Kimberly, for like recognizing that. And so, thank you, Kim, if you're watching. It's my biggest accomplishment. I talk about it forever.
Oh, I mean, that's really sweet. And Kim is definitely a queen with great taste. And if she sees inspiration behind you, I mean, girl, that means you're going to grow into something very special.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Were you buying that load of bullshit?
Yeah, actually, that was a full compliment that I just like reeled right in. So thank you. I
Yes.
caught it.
Now, what would you ultimately like to do with your drag career?
Oof. I think the next step, which I was kind of getting into it before, you know, Miss COVID-19 wanted to crash the party, and I wanted to travel. I want to like go places. I think it's so cool, because not only like I think people kind of get tired of you after seeing your face for so long in your city. That I'm like, you know what? People haven't seen my same bullshit, you know, in Spokane or you know, down in California or in Seattle. So hopefully, we always joke about with me, Charisma, and Angel that we're gonna do the Bang Bang World Tour, because we like to do that song as a group because it's easy. But we want to like rent a tour bus and just travel everywhere and just collect coins in small cities. I think that's the next step for me. That's where I want to go.
Yes, AJ and the Queen style. Get in an
Oh,
RV and float around.
100%. We'll just rent an RV and we'll play the same song every single transition.
Yes. Now, what's something we should ultimately know about Amy Takill that we might not know already?
um, that I'm a top.
Ooh, you already got my attention. Hey.
Well, Kimberly loves to say the most that I am a blouse, which is a feminine top. Um, so whenever she says I'm a blouse, I'm like, well, why don't you try me on? Which I'm not going to say to Kim because that is a in relationship woman. But so all jokes aside, things that people like really don't know about me, that I'm human. One of like kind of the weirdest things that someone has ever told me was, Amy, you just don't seem real. I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, pinch myself, I'm like, are you having like a stroke? Like, of course I'm real. And they were like, no, 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 like, we just never get to see who you are. And I was just like, what? And it was just one of those like strange things of like, how do you not know who I am? I talk to you all the time. And so, if people need to know about me, it's just asking questions, honestly. Like, I answer questions all the time. I'm like, yeah, I love this. I love that. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm an introvert. Like, I'm not going to be outspoken and be like, oh, I like this. Like, no, I keep to myself.
Well, and what it sounds like is you're human underneath it all, just like the
Yeah.
rest of us. And honestly, it sounds like you deal with a case of what we like to call in the drag industry a perfection pedestal, where the audience and our community tends to put us on this pedestal because we're these fabulous, amazing creatures. And they're like, well, you're perfect, and you're always like this, and you're always like, you're at home being like, hey, bitch, yes, okay. But
Yeah, like
no.
exactly. My old roommates will tell you the best. Like, if I'm not in drag, I am in my room. I am playing my PS4 and I'm thinking about what's for dinner. Like, I'm not doing anything else besides focusing on me.
Well, I love that, bitch. And if you're on that PS4, hit me up, bitch. We can play some Dying Light or Dead by Daylight. I love me surviving me a serial killer on the PlayStation.
Bet. Okay, I will message you later to add you on the PSN.
Yes. Now, honey, what do you think makes Amy unique from other queens?
um, what I would like to say that like kind of makes me unique. I don't do this whole like character for sure, unless I'm on stage and I'm like in that moment doing music. But I'm down to earth, for sure. Even though I do look like this and I have all these jewels and I'm just down to earth. I'm a relatable person. So I feel like that's what sets me apart from other people in the sense that I do like to connect and I do like to know what people do and say and like I love feedback. And that's what sets me apart because I feel like some people like to say that they're hot shit and they're their own pop star, but I'm not that.
I love that. So you're a humble queen, it sounds like.
Yes, I am humble until you say something about that, and then I have to sometimes print out my resume and fax it over to you.
There's nothing wrong with just letting them know your history, baby.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what can we expect next from Amy Takill?
So what you expect next from me in the next like hour or so, I will go to Taco Bell and order a Crunchwrap Supreme. That's what you expect next from me. No, so I mean, it's hard to expect anything because we're all locked up. But I do have a short list of like things I want to do. I want to travel. I want to do some more music videos. I think it's really fun. And Bougie has been killing it in the music video game of just like taking this song and just having her own moment. Yeah.
So, I mean, absolutely, especially in this day and age, it seems like you're more thriving being able to do these kind of music video typed virtual performances instead of like trying to do parking lot shows or actually trying to do a show at a bar these days with the limitations.
Yeah. Um, which I'm still trying to make my money. So if anyone watching, Sunday at Stag PDX, reservations on Facebook at Stag PDX. We are having the Bad Girls Brunch, featuring all the baddies. So you got Angel, you got Bougie, you got Petty Page, and then you have the twins, which is me and Charisma, just living it up, ready to be bad girls and bring back brunch. There we go.
Yes, and make sure to go support them out in Portland, Oregon at Stag PDX. Make sure to bring your dollar bills. Again, these are rough times, and they love your money. Now,
Yes. Well, with that, we're also doing a certain thing of don't bring your dollar bills because I don't want your dirty money. So we actually have Venmo right printed on the table, so you don't have to hand us over anything. You can just digitally bloop, bloop, bloop. And so we're keeping it clean. We're keeping it clean.
well, isn't that innovative? I love that. Keeping it clean and friendly.
Yes.
Now, Amy, I cannot wait to come and perform with you soon out in Portland, hopefully when
Same.
all this lifts up.
Yeah.
Could we ever maybe expect to see you on any reality TV shows, such as maybe like Drag Race, Dragula, or Camp Wanakiki? And if so, which one of those would you secretly be attracted to?
So, if you asked early Amy, she would be like, yeah, I'm gonna be on Dragula. I'm so punk alternative. And I was like, no, you lip synced to Paramore one time. You could not survive a needle in the leg. Um, so not Dragula. Camp Wanakiki's fun, but I just know I'm not that funny. But neither was the girls who were on there. But so I would say if I was gonna be on any reality show, I think it would be I didn't know I was pregnant.
Okay, and I was
No,
gonna
just
say
kidding.
cops.
Just kidding. So I feel like nowadays every drag queen wants to be on Drag Race for sure. Because it's like it's what brings you out into like this higher tier. Do I think I'm ready to audition yet? No, at all. But never say never.
Absolutely. Just
Yeah.
keep putting that work into it. And honestly, sometimes they like seeing that fresher queen that's newer to the scene that they can kind of mold to their perfection. So keep doing it, girl. Do you, and eventually you're gonna get lifted up to that level that hopefully that you want.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, how can people support and follow you right now, especially online?
So yes, on Instagram, I am Amy and then dot Takill. That is Takill. And just follow me right now. I feel like that's the just biggest thing. Just follow me. Eventually, you'll get to see more of my journey as we get to like go out in the world more. I mean, I don't really need money right now because I'm living with my parents, but eventually I would like to move out. So hopefully my Venmo is listed right here. Yeah, tip me if you want to. Mind you, I would have to say, before you give it to this dude in a wig, think of any other charities to give to first. Because I know I look like charity work, but I'm the least charitable thing that you need to donate to right now. So,
Well, speaking of charity, um,
yeah.
both of our PayPal and Venmo and tipping information is going to be down below. And I definitely, if she doesn't want your money,
Yeah,
I
give
will
it to her.
take it. But with that also said, I want you to look down below within the description. You'll find both of our tipping information, but also you will find information where you can support Black Lives Matter. This, again, is an important movement that's happening within all over the world. And any kind of support that you can do towards this cause is going to be helpful. If it's making your voice heard, going out and protesting, and if you can't do any of that, look within down below in the description where you can find several links where you can donate to the George Floyd Memorial Fund, where you can donate to the PDX Bail Fund and the Eugene Bail Fund. There are many ways to support this cause. So again, Black Lives Matter, and anything you can do to help this cause is important. Amy, do you have anything you'd like to say with Black Lives Matter?
I think it's absolutely important. Look into your community. Portland's like there is resources out there, and I do encourage people to look them up. Luckily, with my Facebook, it's basically everyone talks about it, so I don't have to like fight anyone on the comments section. But educate yourself for sure, 100%. That does not mean text your black friend, hey, so what's racist? Because if you have to say that, you're not doing your homework. So, look it up. Look it up. It's a conversation that definitely needs to be had now. It's sad that, you know, it takes a life to have that conversation, but definitely, yeah, just research, talk about it.
Absolutely. Now, Amy, we're almost done with the interview and we'll play a little game before we let you go and we move to that next part. Now, I've never actually worked with you within the drag industry, but we have kind of bumped into each other here and there. Now, you mentioned in the pre-interview that you kind of had a little bit of a funny story with your first exposure to the bitchcock. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So our story, how I not even met you, saw you, because there was no exchange of words, but it
I,
was,
I don't
yeah.
know. I remember telling you that I thought you were beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I actually do remember that. It's all coming back to me, Celine Dion. But so it was Portland Coronation. It was last year. And I kind of, you know, I don't like to talk to anyone at the end of coronation because if you had a good coronation, everyone should be blacked out. So, but you know, everything, people were going outside and I'm rushing Bougie because Bougie wants to get drunk ASAP. And so we're like running to Cece's and I look over and you're in this like beautiful, like pink floral gown and you have like this Marcel wave. Actually, I think it's the dress that you do for this promo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Actually, it was, yes.
just that one. Yep. It was that one. And you did not see me, mainly because I was probably in sweatpants at that point. But you looked at Bougie and you said, Bougie, you bitch. And that's what I remember from the Bitchcock.
Well, there's worse memories. I can say that for sure. Yeah. Well, one last question before we go into our games and make a few announcements. What did you think about your experience on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock?
I absolutely loved it. And I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. You know, every kind of queen gets to dream about they eventually get to tell their story. And, you know, I finally get to tell my story. I get to tell people what I do and who I am. And so thank you for that. You're doing something that no one else is doing. So I had a great time and thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you for those kind words. You know, this platform is meant to basically highlight all the performers in the world because there's a lot of us that just are kind of overlooked or not listened to. And again, just want our chance to tell our story. So if I can provide a silly little platform to highlight all of you beautiful people, why the fuck not? I have
Exactly.
fun doing it. It's a good distraction from all the chaos in the world. And one thing that I've really enjoyed from all this is getting to know all of you on a different level because sometimes we know that Amy Takill, the drag performer, but then
Yeah.
it's nice to know Amy Takill, the person behind the mask.
Yeah. With the
So
mask behind the mask.
yes. Well, before we move on to our little game, I want to announce to all you beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between, if you've enjoyed this fantastic episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, I want you again to look down below within that description where you can find information such as PayPal, Venmo, and Cashapp. Please make sure to tip both me and Amy today for spilling such an amazing interview. At the same time, I want you to make sure to support Black Lives Matter. Now, our next guest is for episode 47 coming up this Monday. I'm really excited because we have one of the most beautiful drag legends in their own right out in Portland, Oregon, the one and only Kimber Shade. So make sure.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. She is going to spill so much tea. I already know it right now. Her name is Shade. There's going to be a lot of shade to share.
Oh, and she's one of those people that has something to say, and I will be tuning in for that.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, definitely tune in. Now, honey, before we let you go, I do want to play a little game. Do you want to play a little fun with me?
Um, I mean, yes. I love
Well,
games.
don't
I love
worry. They're not too painful. Well, too painful.
games.
Well, the first one we do to loop you up to get you ready for the really hard one. And this first game that we like to call Truth or Dab. And because you had no alcohol in the house but had plenty of the dabs, I figured we would ask you a series of shady questions, and you either have the choice to answer truthfully or take a very, very heavy puff of that dab machine you have.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, for round one, tell us about your worst performance flop that's ever happened to you on stage.
Okay. I will answer this one because I don't really feel shame. Everything happens for a reason and it's a learning experience. But one time, I think it was like my second or third time at CC's, and so when it did happen, I was mortified. But I was on stage, and I was doing my one stunt that I know and doing a dip, and so I dipped real hard, real aggressively, and coming up from it, I felt a little bit lighter, and I was like, huh. And it's because I came up and my wig stayed back, and so I just didn't know what to do. Mind you, in a quick second, you're like, you have to come up with something, bitch. You're bald headed. What are you gonna do? What is the reason? And so I just took my wig and I started wiping the floor with it.
Oh my God, that's some tea right there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I love it. For round two, I think the question that a lot of us have wondered for many years is that you and Bougie Cherry are very, very close. You even call yourselves sister wives. Now, have you and Boozy Cherry ever kai-kai'd?
Well, you see, no, plain and simple, no. We are one of those lesbian sister wives where sex is beyond us now, and so we're just mature and we will grow old together.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that works. I still think you should take a hit of that dad pen because that was kind of a weak answer.
I know. Okay, hold on. Let me press the button, let it warm up. Okay, and then green.
Warm up. I mean, what the freak? What are we? Windows 95?
No, we're dial up.
Perfect. For round three, what's the longest you've gone without actually washing your undergarments and your tights? Oh,
So I try to be on top of it as much as possible. But sometimes weekends run a little bit long. Um, I think it was 6 shows. I did 6 shows, and I did not wash my tights in between any of them. And I also kept my bag in the trunk because I was from show to show to show to show. And when like the tights are still damp, but you
yep,
have to put them on anyway. And
yep.
so you're just like slipping and sliding in like old sweats. And luckily I'm a drag queen, so I have like a gallon of perfume to just like douse myself in because I felt disgusting.
Oh my gosh, that's some tea right there. In solidarity, I'll tell you a little bit on me is one time, again, we get busy, we forget to wash our shit, especially with the drag. And I remember I came to Portland and I was doing a show with Kimberly, and I'm in the back room and I just hear her go, "What's that smell?" And she comes and looks at me and she goes, "Oh, never mind, it's your tights, Maliena." I'm like, "Bitch!" Ah!
Oh, I would cry.
At least she didn't ask you if she wanted salsa to go with that corn chip smelling tights you have over there.
I mean, I smelled that smell before. I smelled that time many a times, and it always just makes me hungry.
Yummy. Now, for round four, we have tell us about your most embarrassing hookup that you've ever had out of drag.
Okay, so one thing, I've never hooked up in drag. People always ask, and I always take it as a compliment. But as a boy, um, I'm gonna have to take a dab on this one. All I will say is that it involved a bloody nose incident. So I'm just gonna shut up now and just.
I mean, what? A bloody nose during a hookup? And you're not going to spill the tea, bitch. We are going to turn off this recording and you're going to spill all that for me.
Possibly. I cannot just say it to the public because some of the actions that night were illegal. So my lawyers say no.
Always listen to your lawyer. Always.
Yes.
Now, okay, we have one more here actually two more. No, one more. I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic and went to public school. Can't count.
100%.
If you didn't see, okay, if you didn't have to see one thing from another queen, what would it be?
Lots of things. But I am going to take a dab because I'm not giving the full thing. But if I didn't have to see one thing ever again in drag, I think it's the sad group clap. You know, when a queen's performing and she's not doing good, but she's like, you know what will get the audience going? And no one's joining her. And then you have like the 3 white people in the back doing it off beat. And so it's just even more sad. But there's tons of other things I would love to never see again in drag. But for that, I will have to do one more.
Yes. Well, let's give you a quick bonus question just because I'm an evil bitch and that's how I roll. What is your biggest pet peeve in drag?
Oh. So my biggest pet peeve in drag, or like what I see in drag, I think it's someone's duty to make sure what they're wearing looks good. Basically saying, wear some body. I know some drag is a little different. Some drag is andro, some drag is everything. But if you're gonna wear something tight, I better see some titties and I better see some pads and just give me that body. Because if you're wearing something skin tight and your skin's not tight, okay.
Well, personally, Amy, I know nothing about showing my body off at all.
Yeah.
I'm just not that kind of girl, obviously.
You're gonna get so in trouble from Facebook. You have nips. You're nipping so hard right now.
I'm so sorry. It's just cold in here. I can't help it.
It's cold in the middle of summer. Okay.
Well, my heart's in the room, and we know that's cold as ice. Well, perfect. We're going to play one more game before we say our goodbyes to everyone. Now, this one is a Bitch Talk with Bitchcock favorite that tends to get people in trouble, but at the same time, we have so much fun doing it. And this game we like to call Marry, Kai, or Cancel.
Cool. Okay. Love that.
Well, how this will work is I'm going to ask you a series of 3 names at a time. And out of those 3 names, you're going to tell me who you'd marry, who you maybe Kai with, and who you would like to see their shows get canceled completely.
Perfect.
Okay. For round 1, we have the legendary queen from Camp Wanakiki, Miss Coco Jim Holiday, the high bitch herself, Miss Sativa Goddamn Jones, and the kitten who likes to clean herself in public, the Kiara Cortez.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm gonna start with married first. And I'm gonna go with Coco. Mainly because she's married, so she's already, experienced in that. But I would marry without a prenup. So eventually I can own half of the CD drag company that she owns. So marry out of selfish gain. For Sativa, I think I would Kai with her. I mean, there was a period where people thought we were, which I'm like, Sativa, if you down, but not anymore because she's also a taken woman now.
Honey, that's okay. That's what the menage a trois for.
I mean, I am fluent in some French. And then for cancel, I think Kiara's last one. So sorry, girl.
Oh, goodness, you're in so much trouble, Miss Amy. Well,
Oh,
speak.
she'll automatically text me after seeing this, and she'll just be like, "You fucking bitch." I'm like, "Hey, you can always do my shows."
Yes. Well, for round two, we have to go make this one especially hard for you. So we have Portland legend herself, Miss Kimberly Michelle Westwood, your drag mother, Miss Lilac, and your sister wife, Miss Bougie Cherry. Ooh.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this one's easy. So we're gonna cancel Bougie. She's used to it by now, so it's going to affect her a lot less. So then I'm gonna marry my drag mom Lilac. So hopefully I can get even more discount on the wigs. And then I think we're gonna just have to kai with Kimberly. And that's gonna be awkward because Paul then has to watch.
Well, someone has to hold the camera, don't they, Amy?
Only fans.
Yes. Well, I love that. You did that one very smoothly. Let's see if that works just as well for round three. And for round three, I thought I'd make this extra particularly hard for you. Starting with your other drag mother, Miss Angel Phoenix, the flawless queen of Portland, Flawless Shade, and the pettiest out of all of us, Miss Petty Page.
Okay. Whew, okay. So we're gonna kai with Flawless because there was a time when she wanted to do it too. There's actually a lot of Portland queens that fail to admit it, but they want a little piece of Amy. And she was one of them at one point. I'll never tell. Just kidding. I'm gonna marry my mother because I know she can cook. She cooks good food. And cancel Petty. I'm so sorry, Petty. I'm gonna have to cancel you.
That truly is sad, but at the same time, there's some good news in that.
Yeah.
Petty
100.
Page is going to be coming on my show in 2 episodes, and I cannot wait to hear her rebuttal about hearing you canceling her.
Again, just like Bushi, she's also used to it, so hopefully there's no hard feelings.
Oh my goodness, the shade of it all. I like you, Amy. Now, for round 4, we have the beautiful and legendary Victoria DuPont. We have the sassy VJJ and the talented but shady Kwanzaa Shade.
So I'm gonna go with cancel Kwanzaa, even though I love the holiday. And then I'm gonna go with I'm gonna kai with Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm high, so I forgot the third one.
The JJ.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna marry that because I already married Lilac.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna have a little menage a trois, Lilac. Girl, I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about this, especially, honey, Amy, that's your mother.
I'm sorry. Not sorry. We'll just live in the giant house and we'll just do wigs all the time.
I love it. Well, we have one last round, and then we're going to say our goodbyes to everyone. For this last round, we have Mercury Dabs, Kisses Ash, and to throw a little bit of a wrench in there, a boy, Jared Lee Lisha.
That's going to be hard.
That's what he said.
So I'm going to marry Jared. So because hopefully at that point I will be a lipstick diva if I do. It did in the past, but then I'm going to kai with I can't do Mercury. That's my kid. Okay. So we're going to Kai Kai with kisses. I feel like we would have a beautiful baby. And then I'm going to cancel Mercury. I'm going to cancel my own kid. But it's fine. She'll take after her other mom.
Well, I love it. You answered that truly wonderful. And I have a little secret to tell you, Amy.
Yes.
You survived the entire interview of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock.
I'm glad. I usually look like the kind of person that gets killed in the first episode, so I'm glad I made it to the end.
Well, I am too. It's been such a privilege to have you finally on the show. And I just had such a great time. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, all you beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between, I want you to tune in this Monday for episode 47 as I get to interview the legendary Miss Kimber Shade. Again, this will be a fantastic episode and you do not want to miss it. If you've enjoyed this fantastic episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, make sure you tip both me and the beautiful Miss Amy Takill just for spilling all the tea and sharing all the shade. I do want to also mention that we have a little bit of an announcement coming up at the end of the month for July 31st. We have a fun but fabulous thing called Freaky Friday episode, which will be turning a few things around on their heels. I am going to release this weekend a video of me spinning a wheel with 14 of our past guests, and whoever lands on is going to get an opportunity to come back on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock for a surprise project.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
Yes, so tune in this weekend for that surprise video to announce who will be coming back as a special guest on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. And once that video is released, we're going to give it the little twist of what's going to happen in that episode. So definitely pay attention. Now, all of you beautiful boys and girls, I thank you again for watching Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. It's been such a privilege to provide these episodes with you. As a secondary announcement, I also want to announce after episode 50 on the 31st of July, we will be taking a month break off of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, which means we will just not be here for August, but we will be returning back in July. I just need some time to go camping and have orgies, you know, the fun stuff.
Exactly. Summer activities are must needed.
Yes. So to make sure that you tune in this September for season 2 of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock as I, push my game even further and bring even more legendary people back. So please make sure to tune in this Monday. But in the meantime, I love you all and I hope you have a fantastic and safe weekend. Bye.
Bye.